in the fires of hope and prayer. With boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners, wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection, and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
We're ready, yeah, we're ready, ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, Look how the sun now raising up, and the crowd now waking up. The atmosphere have vibes, and nothing can break it up. The girl them a wine non-stop, we had the drinks them in a my cup. We gonna party all night, 24 parties we hit in a row. Tonight at the very last show, before we are not on the road. The girl them a release the road. So let me see your hands up, so everybody know, put your hands up, so if you're ready for the road, let your friend them know. We're ready for the road. We're ready for the road. So we're ready, yeah, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready. The girl them a wait all week, get up on the road like freak. The music full of applause, with thousands of chipping feet. Everywhere you look is just food, and everybody in a real nice mood. We gonna party all night, Everyone with painted body, clean credit and tainted money. Nobody want to dance by themselves, everybody wanna dance on somebody. Well, let me see your hands up, so everybody know, put your hands up, so if you're ready for the road, let your friend them know. We're ready for the road. We're ready. So we're ready.
Wake up, rise up. It's the Net Radio Breakfast Show. Bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
We're ready. We're ready.
Well, everybody, good morning to you. And of course, welcome to New Era TT Radio, taking you above and beyond. Yes, we are ready. And we're hoping that you are ready too. So much thanks to the Heavenly Father, as always, for bringing us together for another day. Everything that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing on to you. Sir Charles, that is me. And of course, this is your Get Up and Go Breakfast Show.
Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to our listeners across the planet. Of course, a special good morning to all of the people joining us early on the stream, and a special good morning to my co-hosts Wendell, Stephen, and Sir Charles on this election day morning.
Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It is, in fact, Election Day in Trinidad and Tobago, April 28, 2025. We decide who runs our affairs for the next 5 years. That's what we get to do today. It's a very democratic, robust process. And we are happy that we have never had an election violence here in Trinidad and Tobago, and we hope never to have it. Right? We are happy to be in the land of the living. It's a great day, Trinidad and Tobago. So, Charles, you make me jump when that tune start this morning, yes?
It was a good choice, Sir Charles.
It was indeed a great choice. But I jump when I hear the first word, yes? So, Sir Charles, and then I say, but wait, that I bungee? Okay, all right.
Yeah. Thanks very much, guys. You know,
Wendell, don't get to put Sir Charles in trouble. That was meant for all Trinidadians and Tobagonians being ready to vote this morning.
Yes, well, I know that's what he meant by it. I would think nothing else of Sir Charles.
No, I know that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Yeah, it's capturing the mood, you know. But Richard, before we move forward, every time I listen to our opening breakfast song, I mean, Richard, you sang this song also?
No, I didn't sing it.
Oh, okay. Every time I play that track, I listen. I said, I wonder if Richard really singing.
You know, as you brought that up, Sir Charles, do you sing in the national anthem in the beginning?
No.
Okay, I sometimes think I hear your voice in the taped version of what sang that version.
It's slow flow.
It was them. Okay.
That's slow flow. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I'm hearing your voice as part of it, but but it's election day this morning. So I mean, you could almost feel it's almost it's like from midnight last night. To quote former Dr. Rowley's famous words during this, was it the state of emergency or COVID? From midnight tonight.
Yes.
But from midnight last night, it was almost like an eerie silence.
Yes.
And of course, the three of us are usually up, but I don't know about Sir Charles, but I know Wendell is still up after midnight lots of the time. And I certainly am. And it was just like an eerie silence. And strangely enough, I wasn't sure whether the issue of bars being closed kicked into effect from midnight or it kicked into effect
from 6. I think it's from 6.
Right.
6 to 6, 6 to 6, 6 a.m. to 6
I got the
p.m.
impression that some bars that you usually be hearing music from in the distance were shutting off, even though I think there was one that had a rollicking party.
Campaigning has to stop at midnight, but bars is between 6 and 6.
Because like I was wondering what was happening on Peter Avenue, because were they shutting up at midnight, or were they going? Because they could go straight to close to 6 o'clock.
Yes, and they
they could go straight close.
Yes.
You could leave a place like Frankie's and head to the polling station almost. I speak no untruths.
No, you don't.
I have been there. I mean, not one vote, but
you voted after Lyman by Smokey already?
No, I've been there in the sense of I've been by Frankie's on the avenue and sunlight is coming up.
Is that so, Richard?
Yes, I have done it. I admit it. I'm just liming. I was even drinking so much. I don't even drink as much as I used to. But I was never a big drinker anyway. But yeah, that's what it is. But you felt that kind of thing, and when I was walking on the road this morning to get people and stuff, and of course, you're telling everybody, well, Rima is still a very friendly place, so people tell you good morning as you're walking down, and I just could feel that people are, I don't know what the word is, waiting,
anxious.
I don't know if they were anxious, but there's an expectancy in the air of some sort.
I don't know which one of you it is, but there's a breeze blowing in your microphone.
Oh, it's mine. The AC is behind my head. That's why.
Nice.
Because I'm in the office. Let
me swing it away from me.
Yeah.
Right. Is that better?
Still hearing it.
I still hear the noise, but so it can't be from me.
Well, it can't be from me. I have nothing.
I hear the noise, but that's not from me.
I don't know.
I could lower the fan too. Let me try that.
But while we're deliberating on those technical issues, maybe we should.
Did it stop?
Yeah.
So is the fan? I had the fan up too high. Sorry.
Okay.
I was having my coffee now, so I need to cool down. Coffee does put a heat inside the air.
Oh yeah, it does. But let's get into our good news for this morning, because we always do our good news first thing in the morning. After a little chit chat, of course. So I got this good news from
Pope Francis met with the recently appointed president of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Anthony Thomas Aquinas Carmona, who came along with his wife and children. The atmosphere during their Saturday morning meeting seemed relaxed right from the start, but perhaps the most entertaining moment came when the president gave the Pope his gifts.
And this is the recipe to make cocoa tea. Our cocoa is considered to be the best in the world. These are cocoa blocks. Yes.
Then the president gave the Pope one of his country's traditional musical instruments, which both leaders seemed to enjoy. The meeting focused on the contribution the Catholic Church in Trinidad offers in regards to education, healthcare, and assistance to the needy. The two leaders also spoke about the fundamental role the family plays in society.
That was just a little glimpse of,
That's great news, Richard, because I saw that video online. And I don't remember seeing it back then when Mr. Carmona was president.
As was president.
Yeah, I don't remember it from then, but I saw it the other day and I said, oh, I love that video. Yeah. So that's great news. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
That was our little good news segment to show that, that there was a personal connection between Trinidad and Tobago and the Pope Francis in whatever way. And he played the national instrument. So, for however briefly, maybe you used to play it late at night before he slept too.
Yeah.
Ave Maria. Okay, I could go and sleep now.
But I actually got up early to watch the funeral on Saturday. I was up. I I think it started around 4 a.m. or so or thereabouts. So I was up and I looked at the entire funeral.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was a simple funeral. Wasn't too many, speeches and all that thing. It was a simple. It was a typical Catholic type funeral. You understand? No extras were done. I enjoyed it.
But he was a simple man, that's why they call him the People's Pope. But in some other good news, which I should really say for another day, but we sometimes we are looking for good news and what good news to have. But I'll go brave. Of course, we can't talk politics too much this morning because it's election day, so
we'll talk election. But we won't talk. We'll try to avoid talking politics.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that's not allowed. Even though I always think from a freedom of speech point of view, does it really make sense? But I guess the intent of what it is that you don't want any further campaigning taking place.
But Richard, I think all of us should know on social media it isn't stopped, Well,
they can't stop it because anybody could be anywhere on social media.
Yeah.
You can't really,
Yeah.
But as media, even though we are internet-based, we still will abide by the rules.
Yeah.
But the other bit of good news that I wanted to mention, let me put on my glasses for this one, is that NIB is to go digital from September. I know, don't groan and roll up your eyes about the whole digital process and how long it's taking. But starting this week, citizens can access National Insurance Board services online as the agency begins the rollout of its Empower Digitization project, which is set to be fully operational by September.
Because they have... Sorry.
Go ahead. Okay, speaking at the opening of the NIB South Headquarters in San Fernando last Wednesday, Executive Director of the NIB, Nayala Prasad Polia, highlighted...
Polaya.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is it Polaya or Polia?
Yes, Polaya, yes.
Polaya highlighted the significance of this transformation, saying it will transform how the NIB interacts with the public, enhancing accessibility and convenience. Prasad Polaya said the Empower initiative will introduce a centralized platform which will serve as the backbone of the NIB's operation. She explained that it aims to improve service delivery, enhance citizen engagement, and build a more data-driven social insurance system. Very soon, this report, customers will have the convenience of submitting data electronically, making electronic payments, viewing their contribution records, submitting claims, updating their information, and so much more right from the comfort of their mobile phones or computers, anywhere, anytime. For those who prefer in-person assistance, she said the NIB's newly opened corporate headquarters in San Fernando was now available. She noted that the rollout of Empower will begin as early as this week with the onboarding of employers. So that's just a sense of... Yeah.
I think they have already started that online thing because to get an appointment now, you have to go online, eh?
Yes, you have to go online to get an appointment. And don't think it's next week.
No, well,
next week.
I think if you... All right, so NIS is the payments start at age 60. But you cannot apply until 3 months before you actually turn that age. You understand? You have to. Yes.
That's the earliest you could start submitting your paperwork.
Yes.
And you should.
And you should. Yeah. If you're listening and you have not done it, just wait until just before you turn 3 months before you turn 60, and go online and get an appointment date.
Well, you know what? You should really start 4 months before because your appointment date.
No, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to allow you to do
it's not going to allow you to do it.
Yeah, it's not going to allow you to do an appointment prior to the 3 months.
Yeah, but that appointment date, and depending on which office you're going to, sometimes you have to search for, because you can probably submit it anywhere in any office. Sometimes you have to really up, skip, and jump offices to find who has the closest appointment date, which is convenient for you to get to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. You know. So let me greet some folks this morning. First, let me say some birthdays. I have a lengthy birthday list today. Elvin Edwards, today's his birthday, former mayor of Arima. He is celebrating his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday,
Elvin. And
happy birthday, Mr. Edwards.
Former councillor Paul Guerra, he used to be at the Tunapuna Piaco Regional Corporation. Today is also his birthday. Randy Richards, my good friend from Blue Waters, he is celebrating his birthday today. Panman Pat, Donna Marie Joseph, Margaret Modest, Ayana Lewis is also celebrating her birthday today, and Deandra Marshall. All right, happy birthday to them all on this Monday, April 28th. And let me just greet the folks online for this one take the cake, hey guys. Somebody sent a greeting 10:51 last night, and the greeting is saying good night into the morning. Miguel Gonzalez, you take the cake.
You take the cake, you get a prize.
You get a prize. You can get a prize for that. Right? When we get prizes, right? Because we get prizes. So Miguel Gonzalez, you take the cake there. Susan Jessup says good morning. Blessings always, Wendell. Sir Charles Richard and Wendell. Melissa in Schaffler says good morning. Robert Taylor out there in Fernandina Beach, who I had to also help. I'm pressing these things by accident again. With his, I know for sure about NIS because of Robert Taylor. Marlon Motley says good morning, guys. Why isn't my thing moving? Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona says good morning. Annie Bunyan, good morning, guys. Cheryl Johnson says
Annie, you're up early again, girl. Good morning, Annie.
Yeah, Annie.
Sorry about that.
And you're on a roll now. Cheryl Johnson says good morning. Rena Boodoo Jennings next says good morning, guys. I'm dependent on you to scroll now, right? Yeah. Says good morning. Who else is there? Julia S. Batiste says good morning. Alyssa Hart says, oh Lord, I touch it. Why am I touching these things?
No, I did it.
Did you touch it? Okay.
Yeah.
Alyssa Hart says good morning, guys. Please go out and vote and don't take anything for granted. That's good advice. And Lambert Bruce says good morning, all. Carol Guevara also says good morning. Brent Hackshaw, good morning, gentlemen. Blessed day to you all. Sometimes we're not so gentle, Brent. Ambrose Blah, good morning to the breakfast crew. Lincoln also says good morning, guys. Wayne Ramsey also out there in Fort Lauderdale says good morning. And DL says good morning, all. Who else I have? Who is this now? Coconut Bloodline Apparel. Good morning to, I onto all, changing names every time.
No. I know him. That's Keston. That's a good friend of mine.
Coconut Bloodline Apparel?
Yeah.
But that name has never come up before, has it?
Oh, I don't know if it has come up
before. Richard, I'm very good with names.
But that's his
but that's a brand new name.
But that's his that's his brand. That's the brand of some of his clothes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Neil Francois also says good morning. Who's next up there, Richard? Bumati says good morning. TNT, have a blessed, peaceful day, I guess. DL also says it is indeed nice. I guess she means calmly. Stick Money Grip says good morning, gentlemen. Have a great day. Champion of Democracy, Child of God, good morning, everyone. Chevron Chogan says good morning, beautiful day. We got the privilege to vote. We certainly do. Who's next up there? CJ,
good morning, CJ.
Good morning, CJ. Have a fantastic day. And Miguel Gonzalez, finally wake up and say good morning. Miguel, we know you was up late last night. Who else is there, Richard? Ron DeSantis Jr. Is that the next one? No, Chevron Chogan says good morning. Where all these people come from, boy? Ron DeSantis Jr. says good morning. It's election day today. Could have fooled me. You could talk. What Canadian politics? Yeah, well, we not so advanced, Ron. Avanel Brown says good morning from Arima. Chris Tusa says grand rising, gentlemen. I can't wait till tomorrow. Vernon Sina, that's also a brand new name. Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning, all, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And Sherwin Kerr says, good morning, guys. Have a wonderful day.
That's a stream of people that came in early this morning. So welcome to the show. And of course, we're taking you through the beginning of election day morning And of course, we're going to have our roving reporter, Tony Fraser, hopefully on at various points during this morning, giving us updates about what's going on at polling stations. So you can look forward to Tony's updates as we proceed later on in the morning on this election day morning in Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, the Canadians listening, it's also election day for you too.
Is it?
Yes, it is. And it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight between the Liberals and the Conservatives. It's pretty close there too. In terms of who's going to be victorious in Canadian politics today. Of course, the Liberals have been ruling for a little while. So the Conservatives maybe think they have a chance, but for a lot of Canadians, they think the Liberals are better able to treat with the policies of Donald Trump in terms of the narrative that's coming out of the US with regard to Canada, which has angered a lot of Canadians. So they have their own mix of what's going on. And also, the economy and stuff like that also factors into Canadian politics.
Right.
So, what's going on in terms of social programming, people's quality of life, all those sorts of things that always crop up for election times, no matter which part of the planet you live on. Is your life better? Do you feel better? Those sorts of issues always crop up. So Canadians who are listening to the program, you can, special good morning to you, just like us, you're voting today. Of course, if there are any Canadians listening right now, or people based in Canada, you can give us a call and tell us what's the vibe like in Canada this morning.
Well, Tinto is in Canada. Anthony Tinto is in Canada. He messaged me bright and early this morning, actually, showing me something up in the sky that I say, well, that had to be a UFO. That don't look normal, But he is up early, and my Shaka is out there now too in Canada, Shaka Subaru. So good morning, and well, go out and vote too, I guess.
Yeah,
but guys, give me 1 minute. Let me just say hi and hello as it will be for some people on WhatsApp and some new people to the WhatsApp also. So first of all, let me say good morning to GNC Otto, up very early also. Somebody, Miss Sampson is always also locked on. And we have some new people joining us in between here. We have Astrid, we have Patricia, Sherwin, Rashida, and well, Katyan, good morning to you also, and Cassandra, good morning to you guys. Yeah.
So just for the purposes of any Canadians watching on, I'm just putting up the ticket tape so that you can see the number to call just in case you can't. Or if you're
guys,
new,
I went through the Sorry, Richard. Yeah.
No. So let me just give the number, Wendell. So you can call. We prefer you call Canadians if you're listening. 2811315. Call us at WhatsApp 2811315 and give us a sense of how this vibe in Canada this morning. Because just like us, they are going to the polls this morning. Yeah, go ahead, Wendell.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that I would have done it, but it'll take too much time to call out the actual list of candidates in each constituency that are contesting. Of course, we have 41 constituencies, 39 in Trinidad, 2 in Tobago. But interestingly enough, what seat has the most among the candidates contesting this poll? You know what seat? Tobago West.
Tobago West.
9 candidates.
Oh, yeah, Arima.
No, because there are some other areas with 6, right?
Yeah.
Diego Martin Northeast is 1, and I think so. Diego Martin Northeast is 1, and Port of Spain South has 6 also contesting. But Tobago West, they top the list. 9 people contesting the elections in Tobago West.
Wow.
9 people. I didn't even realize that you remember we had interviewed him, the guy with the humanity is Trinidad Humanity, Marcus Ramkisoon. Remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was also part of the decriminalization of marijuana. He was also kind of
decriminalization.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's it. We have San Fernando West also has 6 people contesting elections in that area. You understand? So I found that interesting. But as I said, Tobago West topped the list with 9 people. 9.
How many in Arima? Is it just 4?
Arima let me go all the way back. Arima is 5.
5.
5
Give me
names.
the 5. Give me the 5 names because you have a lot of Remains listening.
Yeah. Arima, the contestants are Penelope Beckles for the PNM.
Candidates.
The candidates, sorry. Penelope Beckles for the PNM, Nalini Dayal for the NCT, Jemima Lezama Redhead for the Patriotic Front, Nigel Moses for the UNC, and Shekinah Serju for the NTA. Those are the 5 combatants in Arima.
Isn't Nalini you say there?
Nalini Dayal, yes. Yeah. She is contesting for the NCT. I don't know what that means, though. I've never heard of that name. You know? And in Arangwe St. Joseph, of course, there are 5 combatants. That's where Marcus Rampesoon is contesting.
Oh, that's where Gary Griffith will be too.
Yes, Gary Griffith is also there. So it's Terence Dealsing from the PNM, Anthony Dolan from the Patriotic Front, Gary Griffith from the NTA, Devish Maharaj from the UNC, and Marcus Rampesoon from Trinidad Humanity Campaign. They are the combatants in that area. And if I could just give you the Tobago West seat, which is the one with 9, it's Arita Clark from Patriotic Front, Shamfo Kojo Lewis from the PNM, Curtis Douglas from the PDP, Leroy George is an independent, Dexter James is from the APP, All People's Party, Ricardo Phillip from Class Action Reform Movement, Nkosi Phillips from Unity of the People, Joel Sampson from the TPP, and Kate Trotman from the IDA. 9 people in the West.
Well, I see one of my good friends, Ricardo, sent me a picture of his stained fingers, so he has already done his duty.
You know, normally I would vote first.
He went early this morning. He went early this morning, boy.
Yeah. I would imagine social media will be a buzz with stained red fingers just now.
There's not seeing pictures coming up on social media of people who have already gone in and voted. So like he's one, of course. He went early this morning, boy. The power of a paved road, went there.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't love Trinidad, you know.
Well, I was on the road very early because I came in the Port of Spain, naturally to assist. But 4:30 this morning had plenty people on the road, you know, Richard. And of course, people are going to polling stations, to the staff and whatnot, right?
Yeah. They got there for 4. I think they get there for 4 o'clock, I think.
Yeah, police all over the place, all over police. Yeah, police.
But obviously, we have no Canadians wishing to weigh in on what Canada is like this morning. But I will leave up the ticket team. But I'm going to go to the headlines because it's our headlines. I did not get Newsday this morning for whatever reason. Newsday was late to distribution on Arima this morning. But I got the Guardian and the Newsday, so I'll do 2 out of the 3 daily newspapers, and then we take some of your calls on this election day morning. Keep it respectful and try not to politic. And I know some of the Kyle policies, but you know how we go on the breakfast show. So anyway, I'll start with the Daily Express this morning. You're wondering what the headline is. I'm sure you can guess. It's called Judgment Day. Who will be the next prime minister? Oh my goodness! You talk about having your bucket of popcorn this tonight when those results are coming in. I know some people will be tense.
Well,
Some parts of their body will be going so.
Richard, with bars we open at 6 o'clock. People ain't going for popcorn, huh? You know what they're going for.
There are some bars that might say, okay, we going with all here. If you are smart bar, you will say from 6 p.m. we have specials.
Yes.
To take you through the results. Yeah, but so who will be the Prime Minister? Judgment Day. EBC fully prepared for polls. 13,000 election officials mobilized for duty. Psychiatrists to voters. Sorry. The psychiatrists have to wait because it is a mental issue too. Psychiatrists to voters, stay grounded and stay calm. Now, because somebody's going to be victorious and somebody's not. Because that's the way the system operates. I personally, this is my personal wish, I wish it was like 2021. Like some third party won one seat. I love the drama and excitement of, oh my God, how is this going to be resolved?
Yes.
2021.
But Richard, we had that situation already, you know.
No, we had 1818.
No, we had 1717 too. You're forgetting or what? I'm telling you.
Well, I got the 2 Tobago seats.
Yes.
Yeah, but still.
So they got to decide who was prime minister then, you know.
Yeah. Or 1993. And it must be
even more bacchanal.
And it must be 2 separate parties that win those 3 seats. So it's like bacchanal. I just like the drama of all of that. I just like the drama of that kind of situation. I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go. What's gonna happen now? Because you know what's gonna happen. Because you know what's gonna happen, right? No, but let me tell you, no, Wendell, you don't know what's going to happen, you know, because we know doing this show for years and years and years and years and years, in its previous incarnation. Mm-hmm. When you did do the show, there is nothing. After a while, the decisions and the flip-flopping that politicians do no longer bewilders you. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay. They could say one thing one day and flip completely opposite the next day, and that's it. We bring it to their attention and say, but this is what you did. This is what you said. Yes. This is what you said that you would do. And brazenly, politicians have a certain kind of brazenness, if that's a word, that they will say today is today and tomorrow is tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That's one of them. They will say something like that, today is today and tomorrow is tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And it's incredible that politicians will just flip to the other side and say this is what. So if that was to happen, I have no clue which party some of those third parties will align themselves with.
Well, we have to start off with the statement that politics has a morality of its own, and that has proven so very true. Mm-hmm. That has proven to be so very true.
At the time that Basil Pandey said that, people were like, "What? How could he say something like that?" But
yes,
was not wrong.
No, he wasn't wrong at all.
He was not wrong. Back page of the Daily Express: family in anguish, call for PCA probe after 2 police killings. Of course, you also had the killing of Shumba. He was released from the SOE and died a few days later. Basically, he was shot and killed. And there's a police investigation. My Star reveals investigator pointed to police killing of Shumba James. So that's one that's also making the news. On the back page of the Daily Express, Puran's LSG lose second straight in IPL. Power failure. The Silver Legions need to be smarter in first 6. And CWI hoping for Coolidge investment. The Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for this morning, the front page, TNT decides. EBC says all systems go for general elections. Over 1 million eligible to cast ballots today. More than 2,000 cops to patrol outside polling stations. Religious leaders pray for peaceful poll. All of that is on the front page of the Guardian. On the back page, the Silver 68 guides TNT Legions home. And that's all you need to know in terms of the front and back pages of the 2 daily newspapers this morning. I don't have Newsday.
You want me to have the online Newsday, what it says, some of the headlines?
But you could go ahead, Sir Charles.
Yeah, this is the online Newsday. Carmona, Pope Francis was a beautiful soul. And then there's a lawyer saying Syria repatriated children need full state support. And another story by the Commissioner of Police assures safe election day, warns about offenses. And election day, Trinidad and Tobago decides on next government. And a little further down, the EBC confirms readiness for election day.
All right.
Yeah. As we talk about, Sir Charles raised the issue of the Commissioner of Police and TTPS, we do have a senior officer, Assistant Commissioner of Police. Is he Assistant Commissioner?
Yeah, Assistant Commissioner of Police for Northwest and Special Operations, ACP Richard Smith, will be joining us in the next hour. Yeah.
Richard, check the chat. I sent you a message that I got from the corporate communications folks this morning. Just check it. A new email address was sent, right? So you have to resend that invitation.
Watch my face now.
Yeah, I know. But it was said his Gmail is not working. Well, read the message. Let me put it. Don't put it out there. But just greet a couple people. Good morning, Mr. Ben Niles, Ben and Christine Niles. Good morning. Patricia DeForce says, good morning, folks. Civic duty done. Ron DeSantis is chatting. Chris Tusa is also chatting. Boy BDC says, good morning, guys. DL says, only red fingers. She saw a red toe. Okay. How's the aviation lover? That's a new name also. I will stamp the ballot paper with a special thumb. Well, you can't stamp it. Well, you're stamping the X, and don't let it smudge, because it will be counted as a spoiled ballot.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's not.
It will be considered spoiled. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be considered spoiled. So make sure the ink dry on the paper before you fold it. Right? Biznat Prasad says good morning to everyone, and Marcel Johnson also says good morning, guys. All right.
Good morning to CJ out there in New York also.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have the ticker tape moving across the screen, so we can take some of your calls at this point before we go to our morning poll this morning. Let's hear some of what you're thinking this morning, and as it's election day 2025 in Trinidad and Tobago. WhatsApp us or call us, but WhatsApp call us or direct call us 281-1315.
Yeah, and of course, you cannot, please don't get us in trouble. Unnecessary stress. Don't bring us unnecessary. I don't know they could get us in trouble, but don't bring us unnecessary stress this morning by calling in the program to campaign. Please don't, right? You could say about your experience at the polling station if you've gone to vote already. You could talk about that, but please don't tell us.
No campaign.
All
right, so we have a caller online. Good morning to you, caller.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
As you have that assistant commissioner of police coming out today, in the next hour, please ask him about that thing in Barrapo, where the 15-year-old girl was killed, and then the guy committed suicide.
What was that? Sorry?
The police said they had them on video with the girl, but the video was never shown. We never saw the video.
What is that about, Alistair?
Yeah, the 15-year-old autistic girl that was killed in Barrapo.
Okay, I don't know that story.
I remember that story, and I think they held
the guy. And then the police said that the guy was seen with the girl, and he confessed that he committed suicide. But the girls to buy food, that never was shown.
Okay.
So it makes people wonder.
I never saw a video like that. They may not necessarily release a video like that. Yeah. All right.
Once it's a minor, they tend to not.
Yeah. They won't show a video like
minors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if it's under investigation, it take a while to investigate thing here.
All right, the phone number on DeSantis is 281-1315. You're abroad, I think, so you have to add 8688 1-868-281-1315. Richard, you might need to include that in the ticker tape to tell people abroad that they have to dial 868.
They don't know that they have to dial the international code.
Some people may not know, Richard.
It's WhatsApp.
True. Well, WhatsApp, just store it.
Yeah, once you store it in WhatsApp, that's it. Then you can call us.
Yes.
I think we have a caller there. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Your front and center. I happen to be up in the Niagara Falls, USA side this morning. And I do have a couple of Canadian counterparts, right? So I ain't getting all in trouble. Just want to let you know that. I'm not talking TNT politics here. You can talk Canadian politics even though you're not too versed about it. But I can tell you something. Changes in the air in Canada. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys are old enough. Do you remember there was a guy called Pierre Trudeau?
Yes.
A wonderful statesman. Yeah, and Canada's best man, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they say the apple don't fall far from a tree, but this apple, the former guy who was there, his son, and I know there's a joke out in Canada that is Fidel's son, but a different story. Anyway, but
Fidel?
You didn't know that joke in Canada? Because you know his mommy, Margaret, she was a groupie, not only for the Rolling Stones. I mean, imagine the Prime Minister's wife being a groupie with Mick Jagger.
But people have their youth and what they did in their youth.
Yeah.
So. No, this is why you are First Lady of Canada. Come on, man. And then on top of that,
well, he would. What do you mean? He can't have control over what the woman he love and marry. I don't know. Yeah. He has no control over that.
But go ahead. Make a substantial point, please.
Wait, I'll make it fast here. Here we go on. They say when you look at Fidel without the beard, and you look at this boy back then, right, at the jawline, they say you can't give it away. Anyway, that is a joke. But really, it is more seriously though, besides being facetious here. The changes right now, when you look at how Canada is a real place where in a sense, people stand up. Remember this thing about take the vaccine or you will lose your job, take the vaccine or you can't do business and all that kind of nonsense. You see what happened with the truckers and all that? So that whole thing is a new day in Canada. And this Pierre guy, it'd be great when you have somebody called Pierre to bring some sort of thing back.
We know that you obviously. We know you obviously vote conservative, but I'm sure there are also people voting liberal who will say, "Oh, the liberals are going to keep it." So, that's what
it's all about, not so.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Exactly.
Morning, caller.
With your interests, not so.
Caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Are you only sticking on the topic of elections or no?
No, what you want to talk about? You can talk about anything you think, I don't know.
All right then. I know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this execution that happened in Tobago on Saturday.
Huh?
I assume, well, by response, I take it that you haven't seen the video.
No. I was only, I didn't, I watched the Pope funeral and then I went elsewhere and that was it for my weekend.
Well, when
I went on a boat ride actually. I surprised myself, midnight, I go in reggae ride. Imagine I go in a reggae ride at midnight in the night. Imagine that until 3 in the morning. That's how Gaylan and Shane had me on Saturday night.
Well, when I finish making my contribution, Mendel, I would send it to you and Sir Charles. I don't have Richard's number.
No problem.
However, there was an incident where an plainclothes police officer had the cause to put handcuffs on a man in Tobago on Saturday. The man seemed to have been fearful for his life because from what he said, he had encounters with this police already who shot at him already. And he was fearful for his life. While the handcuff was on, so the man was actively resisting. I would admit that he was actively resisting because, and from what he was saying, he was fearful for his life because he suspected the police were going and take him somewhere and kill him. The civilians around who was recording the incident, you could hear them saying the police is not going to kill you in front of all of we here. I tell you, can't you not going to kill you. And sure enough, the police hit him one shot to his face, what appeared to be his abdomen, and killed the man with handcuffs in front of everybody. Right? I was waiting till Monday morning to bring this up. You have to hear from the Commissioner of Police what is the status of that police officer right now and what is going on with that situation. It was recorded. It was in front of witnesses. The man was handcuffed. And the police shot and killed the man. Right?
So wait, he was handcuffed and being held by another police officer, and another police officer shoot him?
No, the same police officer that put the handcuff on him in plain clothes is the same police officer that shot the man and killed him.
While holding him?
While holding him. He wasn't running away. Not that running away is a reason to shoot at anybody.
Yeah,
but he was in the police custody struggling. He wasn't a struggle, but still found it necessary to shoot the man and kill him while in handcuffs.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's
right?
Wow.
I mean, that's incredible.
Send that video for me.
And that's obviously going to be under investigation
Thanks very much, Lincoln. Yeah.
And that's maybe something that maybe I know we're already talking elections this morning and how the TTPS is ready for elections and what they've mobilized and the do's and don'ts, etc. When we speak to ACP Richard Smith in the next hour, but maybe we could bring it up with him in terms of finding out, well, what's the status of that, and
I'm going back to the other caller about the child. I think somebody is saying that video was shown. I didn't see it, but
yeah, I didn't see it either. But we're still taking your calls before we go to our morning poll. So 218 am I saying 281 1315 281 1315. You can WhatsApp call us. But we heard from one person based in Canada who just voted, and of course he was obviously for the Conservatives in Canada.
No, he was in Canada.
He wasn't in Canada?
I don't think so.
I think he was. He said he was from Niagara Falls. He was calling
on the US side.
Or maybe he didn't vote.
No, he was by Niagara Falls on the US side.
Oh, I misunderstand because you say Niagara Falls. I'm immediately going to think Canada. I'm not going to think Buffalo.
No, on the US side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the Niagara on the US side is in Buffalo, isn't it?
I think so. I've never gone to Niagara from the US side. I've gone from the Canadian side.
Yeah.
I actually went out in the boat and went under the spray and thing.
Oh, okay.
I had to go all the way. I ain't just going to watch the waterfall. I going out in the boat and feel the spray falling on you.
Yeah, I know you like spray in your face. So 281-1315. 281-1315.
People are confirming it is Buffalo, Richard. Yes, it's Buffalo. Trinidad Tobago says it's in Buffalo.
It's in Buffalo, okay. So 281-1315. We can still take some of your WhatsApp calls or direct calls as we head towards 7 a.m. Of course, we're going to go to our morning poll this morning shortly. And of course, what do I have for the morning poll this morning? Of course, you can decide, Wendell.
We could, I mean.
What I have for the morning poll, you could decide whether we go with this or change it. Do you have confidence that the general election today will be free and fair? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Something, generic, without crossing the lines of media restrictions today, in terms of discussing, politicking.
Mm-hmm. I've been to Niagara Falls too in the night when I stayed. Yeah, when they light it up, it's a beautiful sight, Yeah. It's beautiful.
So, any WhatsApp calls, Sir Charles?
No, right now. No WhatsApp calls. Well, some of you regulars.
Nobody voted already to give us a sense of what is happening at the polling station. Was it smooth? Was it not smooth? Come on. 281-1315. Give us a call. Tell us what's going on at the polling station. Was there any bacchanal? Anybody cuss out anybody? We like a little bacchanal here.
Well, I tell you what, Richard. This morning when I was coming down, you're not supposed to wear political jerseys today, right? No. You're not supposed to have one. You could wear any color, but you cannot wear an emblem on it. And I saw a guy on the Eastern Main Road with a jersey, a party jersey, and I saying, okay, maybe he's a drifter or something. Maybe you don't know, he's a homeless person. But he had on the jersey this morning, walking up the Eastern Main Road. I said, okay.
But it have a lot of people who acquire some wardrobe over the last couple of days. Good morning.
I like how you put that.
Good morning again.
Morning.
Yes, Alistair, go ahead.
Yeah. So Wendell, you got a facial from Niagara, you said?
It was what?
If you got a facial from Niagara.
you listen to Richard when he missed you.
Anyway, I know you didn't see what happened in Guyana with that 11-year-old, but it is totally horrible what happened with that 11-year-old.
There's an executive chamber.
I was following it from Wednesday, Thursday, and something wrong with that Guyana police force.
Yeah, something not right with that.
Totally mad.
Crazy. And they light the
they
hotel on fire, and they light the owner of the hotel to the light his home on fire too.
Yeah, but we should. Well, Amanda Mitchell had shown. Well, our news on Friday had shown some of the footage on that. But the Ghana government has said that they're doing an investigation, and they did assure the family members of the girl that they will be completely transparent in terms of whatever they find out in terms of that investigation. So we'll see how it all turns out.
Yeah.
All
right.
All right. Well, let's do.
Where's Tony Fraser? He could give us a report now. You want to do one quickly before the news?
I don't think I'll be able to hook him up right now.
But let's do the poll, Richard.
Yeah.
Well, our poll this morning: do you have confidence that the general election today will be free and fair? Simple and to the point. That's our poll this morning. Of course, one of the parties did raise a lot of issues with regard to the EBC and their handling of the election. But ultimately, today is election day, and this is our poll. Do you have confidence that the general election today will be free and fair? Yes or no? Of course, you can send your vote via the comment section on Facebook and YouTube. And if you're listening to us on smart devices or listening to us on TuneIn, you can WhatsApp your vote at 2811315. You should have saved that number by now. And why didn't you, if you didn't? 2811315. And of course, if you're outside of Trinidad and Tobago, you can add the 868 code before it. But 2811315, you can also call us at that number via WhatsApp or direct call us at 2811315 to give us your vote, or you can also send a WhatsApp vote. So our poll this morning: do you have confidence that the general election today will be free and fair?
All right. Patricia says yes. Alvin says yes. Captain Ron says yes.
All right. We have on YouTube, Boy Bidesi says yes. Gregory Boyer says yes. Island Girl says yes, and Mrs. R said yes. Hey, Mrs. R, give me a little come online with me a little bit Friday night.
Yeah, she told me. I spoke to her, but I was in a meeting online at that point, and she had called me, and when I called her back, she said, "I leave long time." I was with Wendell, and he well timed me with drinks. I don't know what he wanted.
She like baccarat, yes.
No, she didn't say that. She didn't say that. That was a joke. That was a joke.
I have some more votes here. Let me go through the votes here. So I said Mrs. R already, right?
Yeah.
Champion of Democracy, Child of God says yes. Alice Sahad says yes. Annie Bunyan says yes. Julia S. Batiste says yes. Marlon Motley says yes. Patricia DeFore, yes. Rena Budu Jennings, yes. Slick Money Grip, yes. Brent Hackshaw, yes. Miss Ingrid, you had a vote. You can't say hopefully. You have to say yes or no. DL says yes. Wayne Ramsey says yes. And DL says ask that same question tomorrow. Well, we can't ask that same question tomorrow because it would have been finished. Zia, that's a new name, says yes.
Okay. Right. New York City says yes. Junior says yes. Sexy Red says yes. And Mr. Anand, sorry. Anand said yes.
Mr. Rablo got still online. CJ says yes, Richard. Ron DeSantis Jr. says yes. Miguel Gonzalez says yes. Finbar Collins says, as always, yes. Carol Guevara says yes. Melissa, I think that's Melissa from Champlain, says yes. And Miss Ingrid now voted and she says yes. All right.
And that's
lots of votes coming in today.
Yeah. Do you have confidence that the general election today will be free and fair? And of course, polling began at 6 a.m. this morning and will continue till 6 p.m. this evening. So you have a full 12 hours to vote today from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So do you have confidence that the general election today will be free and fair? Of course, you can continue to vote while we go to our news break. Are there any other votes before we go to the news break?
Yes, Lambert Bruce says yes. And Chevron Shogun says yes. Those are the other two that came in. And yeah, those are the other two that came in.
Any from you,
Of
Sir
course,
Charles?
No.
Just a reminder to employers and employees, you're entitled to 2 hours today to go and vote. An employer must, by law, give you 2 hours to go and vote, okay? Must by law. And I spoke to someone yesterday and they say, well, they're closing off at 2 o'clock today. I said, well, your employer can't determine for you what time you go and vote. What kind of stupidness is that?
Yeah,
they're
but
closing off at 2 and then you can go and vote.
And the employees don't mind that because you just get off early.
Yeah, but Richard, I'm just saying, during the day, you're entitled to 2 hours to go and vote.
Yeah,
you can't decide for people when the 2 hours will be.
You don't have to get so intense with it, and set up your blood pressure. A lot of employees don't mind the little going home earlier because some of them ain't voting at the whole
some people ain't voting at all.
and some will just go after that time anyway.
But I think that basically to manage the business, I think that's a good idea. So look, we close off at a certain time,
and then cause a set of traffic on the road.
Oh, good. What happened to you? Why you bite up so?
Yeah, employees.
Timothy also says yes, Richard, right? That's the next vote.
All right, so you can continue to give vote while we go to our news, and when we come back from our news, we'll take the last set of votes and maybe a few calls before we go into our interview with ACP Richard Smith, who is the Assistant Commissioner of Police for Northwest and Special Operations, and we hear how the police handling stuff today. All right, so of course, your 7 a.m. news.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is Amanda Mitchell with the news on New Era TT Radio for Monday, April 28th, 2025. It's election day across Trinidad and Tobago as an estimated 1.1 million eligible voters head to the polls. Elections and Boundaries Commission has confirmed all systems are in place for today's general election. Polling stations opened at 6 a.m. and will remain open until 6 p.m. The two main parties concluded their campaigns with massive rallies on Saturday, making final appeals to voters in what analysts describe as a closely contested race. Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin has given assurances that security forces are fully deployed to ensure a safe voting environment. This follows earlier intelligence about potential voter intimidation activities. Acting Deputy Commissioner of Police Kurt Simon, who serves as Gold Commander for the election, noted that public disclosure of these threats appears to have disrupted any planned disruptions. Our social media monitoring and intelligence networks have detected a significant decline in concerning rhetoric, DCP Simon said. He encouraged citizens to report any incidents of voter suppression immediately. The CARICOM Election Observer Mission is monitoring the process across both islands. Chief Observer Ian Hughes explained their approach. Hughes explained that the mission would be covering both Trinidad and Tobago thoroughly, with special attention to marginal constituencies. He added that they would be evaluating everything from polling station setup to accessibility for persons with disabilities. The mission, fully funded by the CARICOM Secretariat, pledged to provide an honest assessment of the electoral process. Police have confirmed that the post-mortem examination for 15-year-old Malini Prasad is scheduled for today. The autistic teen was reported missing on April 13th, with her body discovered 4 days later on April 17th. The suspect in the case, Vinod Avinesh Kothai of Barakpur, was later found dead in police custody. Inspector Lewis of the Homicide Bureau continues to investigate the circumstances surrounding both deaths. You're listening to news on New Era TT Radio. In business news, energy experts are suggesting Trinidad and Tobago explore gas supply partnerships with Guyana and Suriname following recent complications with Venezuelan gas field access. Prime Minister Stuart Young recently announced that U.S. sanctions authorities have revoked Trinidad and Tobago's licenses to develop gas fields in Venezuelan waters. These licenses, granted in October 2023 and May 2024, were seen as crucial for addressing the country's energy needs. Dr. Krishna Prasad, noted energy consultant, suggests Trinidad and Tobago could instead tap into Guyana and Suriname's growing gas discoveries. Dr. Prasad noted that these neighboring countries are finding substantial gas reserves but lack processing facilities. He suggested Trinidad and Tobago could establish pipeline connections that avoid Venezuelan territorial waters entirely, which would prevent any policy conflicts. Prasad also highlighted potential domestic developments, noting that several companies are advancing smaller but significant gas projects off Trinidad's east and north coasts. UK-based Perenco is reportedly preparing to develop a major gas discovery in deep waters off Toco. While we face short-term gas shortages, there are promising resources in our ultra-deep eastern waters, Prasad added, emphasizing that both gas and oil resources should receive attention. In international news, Pope Francis was laid to rest Saturday at the Basilica di Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome, becoming the first pontiff in over a century to be buried outside Vatican walls. The entombment ceremony took place on Saturday. According to the late Pope's wishes, his tomb bears only the inscription Franciscus. Cardinal Kevin Farrell presided over the ceremony and will soon help organize the conclave to select Francis's successor. During his papacy, Pope Francis conducted 47 foreign trips, including groundbreaking visits to Asia and Iraq. His funeral homily recognized his international diplomacy efforts, particularly regarding interfaith relations and advocacy for migrants. Finally, like Trinidad and Tobago, Canadians also head to the polls today in what analysts describe as a test of U.S. President Trump's influence beyond American borders. Recent tensions between the neighboring countries have shifted Canadian public opinion, with polls suggesting approximately half of Canadians now view the United States as potentially hostile. Liberal leader Mark Carney, former governor of both the Bank of Canada and Bank of England, has centered his campaign on his economic and diplomatic credentials. Polls suggest voters view him as better equipped than Conservative challenger Pierre Poilievre to manage relations with the Trump administration. However, analysts caution that polling may be underestimating Conservative support heading into today's vote. This has been your news on New Era TT Radio. The Breakfast Show continues next with Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles. I'm Amanda Mitchell.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Work on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The Mid-Morning Mix and Mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Join me, Brother David Muhammad, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Wake up with the Net Radio Breakfast Show. Rise and shine with Wendell Stevens and Richard Raghubarsing, weekdays from 6 o'clock to 9 a.m. Start your day feeling good, energized, and informed as we tackle the biggest issues of the day, get you where you need to be on time, and keep you in the know about everything that matters. With elections coming up on April 28th, we bring you insightful discussions, expert analysis, and the latest updates so you're always ahead of the curve. Mornings matter. Your voice matters. And it all starts right here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio. The Net Radio Breakfast Show, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. Wake up informed and stay ahead.
The future of radio is here. New Era TT Radio, Net Radio. Let's go.
Another day above ground, I see. I'm focusing on the positives, because yesterday I was down. People do me wrong. but it's love in the heart. When they try to take me for clown, I do them no wrong. Jaja have me back, and I shouting, oh Lord, I'm thankful, oh Lord, I'm thankful. It's you who give me health and strength. Oh Lord, I'm thankful. It's you give me the handful. Every day you're blessing me. Only it and back and on. It's not in we nature. Money in we pocket. This life I want love it. Only it and back and on. It's not in we nature. Food on the table. I good and I'm able. Take a jump up and wait. I'm thankful for life. To see another sunrise. But you want up in the air. All the stress on your mind. Put them problems aside. And give thanks, yeah, for another day. Don't forget to pray. And give thanks, yeah, for another day. Don't forget to pray. Another day above ground, I say, thank you, Father. I'm focusing on the positives. Cause yesterday I was down. Today I feel strong. Yes, it's love in the heart. Dirty up my name around tongue. I do them no wrong. Jaja have me back. And I shouting, oh Lord, I'm thankful. Oh Lord, I'm thankful. It's you who give me health and strength. Oh Lord, I'm thankful. It's you give me the handful. Every day you're blessing me. Only it and back and on. It's not in we nature. Money in we pocket. This life I want love it. Only it and back and on. It's not in we nature. Food on the table. I good and I'm able. Think I jump up and wait. I'm thankful for life. To see another sunrise. But you want up in the air. All the stress on your mind. Put them problems aside. And give thanks, yeah, for another day. Don't forget to pray. And give thanks, yeah, for another day. Don't forget to pray.
Just got down. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show. Fueling your day with the best music and moving talk.
Oh, yes, and I tell you, we are very, very thankful. Giving God thanks and praises for life. People, welcome inside our number 2 of
another day above
the Era TT Radio. That is where you are located. And of course, remember, this is your breakfast show.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is your New Era TT Radio weather update for Monday, April 28th. As our nation heads to the polls today, here's what Mother Nature has in store for your Election Day journey. It's going to be generally hot, sunny, and hazy across both islands today, with the chance of isolated showers. If you're planning to cast your vote early, prepare for warm conditions right from sunrise. The evening will remain generally fair, with just the odd isolated shower possible as polling stations close. Trinidad will experience a maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius today, while Tobago will reach 32 degrees Celsius. Overnight lows will drop to 24 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 26 degrees Celsius in Tobago. With humidity factored in, the heat index will make it feel like 38 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 37 degrees Celsius in Tobago. We recommend staying hydrated as you head out to vote, especially during peak hours. For those traveling between our islands today, seas are moderate, wave heights of 1.5 to 2 meters in open waters, wave heights below 1 meter in sheltered areas. Tide times. In Port of Spain, high tides at 3:55 a.m. and 5:01 p.m., low tides at 10:30 a.m. and 10:27 p.m. in Scarborough, high tides at 3:30 a.m. and 4:27 p.m., low tides at 10:06 a.m. and 10:09 p.m. Sunrise was at 5:49 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:18 p.m., giving you plenty of daylight hours to visit your polling station. This has been your weather update. As you exercise your civic duty on this important election day, remember to stay safe, keep cool, and bring along an umbrella for any isolated showers. From all of us at New Era TT Radio, have a wonderful day, and remember, your vote is your voice.
RSRR Productions has done it again. Married and Mischievous was a riot at Zappa. Now we head to Cipriani College for 2 nights only. On Saturday the 3rd of May at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 4th at 6:30 p.m. Tickets available now at usual outlets and from Wednesday the 30th of April at Cipriani College box office. This play is strictly for adults. Married and Mischievous is an experience you'll never forget. S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Of course, we're back with the second hour of the breakfast show this morning on Election Day. Of course, we have an interview coming up shortly with ACP Richard Smith. And of course, we'll be discussing what's going on in terms of the security apparatus for today, Election Day. So welcome back to the second hour of the breakfast show this morning. Wendell, I don't know if you have any more votes.
Yeah, well, we do. We have Robert Taylor saying yes. I don't think I gave his vote. That's the only one, actually, that came in after 7.
And so
I gave you a Ronde Timothy already, right? So yeah, Robert Taylor is the only vote after 7. He says yes. All right.
Right. I have one also. Long Islander says yes.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I can give you the results. So our poll this morning was, do you have confidence that the general election today will be free and fair? And we had 35, well, I could bring up the poll so that people can read it. So do you have confidence that the general election today will be free and fair? And of course, we had 35 people voting on the poll this morning. And of the 35 people, it's 100% that said yes. Okay,
right,
so
well,
everybody said yes. They do have confidence that the general election today will be free and fair as they exercise their civic duty across Trinidad and Tobago today.
All right.
Yeah, I think that.
Ambrose Blanc also says yes, and Cheppy 65. So it's consistent.
Yeah, and I think that is, the way the general public really feels, because I've been voted in, in almost every election that I've been able to do it, and I've never had any hassle. I've never had any kind of intimidation, anybody blocking you, telling you don't go into the, Trinidad and Tobago, we're real lucky,
We are.
All right, because, do we have an update from Tony Fraser at this point, or not yet?
No, I was thinking after the interview I would probably call him.
We could have done one before and one after, but anyway, we'll go straight into our interview now. It's our Let's Talk segment with ACP
Richard Smith.
So we will go straight to Mr. Smith at this point. I'm looking. All right, so anyway, let me bring Mr. Smith into studio at this point. There we have Assistant Commissioner Richard Smith. So thank you, sir, for joining us this morning on the breakfast show on New Era TT Radio. We appreciate you taking the time to speak.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here joining you this morning.
Morning, Mr. Smith. Assistant Commissioner Richard Smith. What does it mean by special operations? What is that title?
Well, I am the Assistant Commissioner in charge of the Criminal Division and also Special Operations. So the Criminal Division includes Homicide, Professional Standards Bureau, Special Victims Unit. I'm also the head of the Anti-Extortion Unit, as well as Special Operations. So that's Special Operations. As the word suggests, it's a lot of different tactical operations that we are involved in, as well as 3 teams that are involved in special operations for the TTPS.
Oh yeah, so much titles that can't fit on our screen. So. But thanks for joining us, ACP Richardson. We appreciate you taking the time. Can you tell us a bit about what are the security protocols in place today for the general election? Because the TTPS would have, via the Acting Commissioner of Police, Junior Benjamin, indicated earlier last week, that there were threats or alleged threats to disrupt, etc., and that the police were taking a zero tolerance approach to any disrupting activities during election day. So what measures do you all have in place for today?
Okay, great.
But before you answer that, Mr. Smith, first tell us the issue of those threats that the commissioner spoke to us about. If you could just back up a bit before we get to today. What in fact were those threats, and have they been neutralized?
Okay, what the type of threats we receive information about is about persons who would be disrupting persons from going to vote, right, and preventing them from voting, or even encouraging them to vote for a particular party. We had information that some of them may be gang members who may be trying to intimidate persons to do this, right, or not to vote. What we have put in place is we have under Deputy Commissioner Intelligence and Investigations, Ms. Suzette Martin, we have specialized teams, and my team would come into play as well, who are placed in strategic locations where we have information as it relates to these types of activities. So we have already placed these persons outside there from early this morning. They are in fact standing by and patrolling particular areas to ensure that we have free and fair elections today.
And that would have been my next question. What is it limited to specific areas or in general?
Yes, specific areas thus far. But if we have information of any other area, we would in fact be sending personnel to those areas to deal with those issues.
Would you care to share what those areas are?
Well, not at this stage, because we want to have the element of surprise still for these persons out there. But we have officers in place at these locations.
Okay.
And in terms of the rollout of the security measures for today,
yes.
I think some of the media reports was like over 2,000 police officers spread across Trinidad and Tobago today to make sure that everything goes well in terms of the democracy and what people are doing today. Can you give us a sense of that?
Yes. Well, from previous, for the weeks leading up to election day today, DCP Simon, who is the goal commander for elections 2025, he set up his operational plan. We have, in fact, officers have been out since 2 a.m. this morning. These officers who have to go to the various polling stations, they have been out from 2 a.m. They have been properly briefed prior to today. So they went to these polling stations. We have all of the polling stations are currently manned by police officers. So we have all polling centers are open and polling stations are open at this stage. These officers, they are armed at these locations. And, we have adequate staff to maintain any law and any issues that may pop up there. From time to time, we have officers to adequately deal with that. We also have an overlay of security as well from the various task forces from the various divisions. They would be patrolling and visiting the various polling centers where these polling stations are on a regular basis. In addition to that, we have inspectors, ASPs, superintendents, senior superintendents, as well as ACPs visiting these centers as well during the course of the day to ensure that we have officers actually performing their duty properly and courteously at these centers. We also have the special operations teams that I spoke of, who would be also in these areas in the event that they may call for assistance. These officers, as the polling stations call for assistance, they would be in a position to respond quickly. So we have several layers of security during the course of the day, and these divisions are supervised by, we have the executive officers. For Mr. Meister, he is in charge of South Central and Southwestern Division. So he is supervising those areas. We have ACP Subero, who is supervising Eastern Division as well as Tobago Division. We have ACP Rishi Singh, who is supervising North Central, Northern North and Northeastern Division. And we have ACP Henry, who is supervising Western Division as well as Port of Spain Division. And all these officers are currently outside since 2 a.m. this morning.
And they would have been, and linking to what you said before, there would be special attention being paid to certain polling stations where those threats emanated from.
Yes, we have that special concentration taking place there. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is it that all police officers were registered as special electors, or what is in place for those officers who would not have been able to vote prior to vote today?
Okay, so the reason we had them as special electors, most of them, is because we do not want officers to be leaving their stations, because once you are sworn in, you take the oath this morning, the oath of secrecy this morning, it will be difficult for you to leave that polling station to go anywhere to vote. So we try to get as much officers to go out, or all of the officers to go and vote. I cannot say at this stage if all of them voted, but I know that all of these polling stations are manned. However, if they have to, I know it's their constitutional rights to vote, we will make arrangements and swear in another officer in their place while they leave to go to vote. So we'll leave it probably till later on during the course of the day, closer to the end of the polling.
As we have you, ACP Smith, I don't know if you could talk about the two incidents that took place that would be garnering police attention and investigative, I suppose, manpower. One, Shumba James, and the shooting of Shumba James, who was released a little bit after the SOE expired, and also the shooting that one of our callers brought up this morning in Tobago, where there is a video on social media alleging that the police executed a man in front of witnesses in Tobago. Can you comment on those two incidents?
No, what I could say at this stage is that both incidents are being investigated at this time. Whenever we have police shootings, we have these investigations are conducted by a first division officer, so that we ensure some level of expediency, as well as, we want some professionalism attached to it. We also have Professional Standards Bureau overseeing these investigations, as well as we have Police Complaints Authority also overseeing from a civilian perspective. And at the end of the day, when all these investigations are completed, we still have a coroner's inquest to be conducted by the coroner. So, it's not only that the police, as people would want to say that the police could cover up anything, or the police did these things and they have themselves investigating themselves. We still have the coroner at the end of the day to do their inquest. So, these reports are under investigation.
What is the protocol for the TDPS where these kinds of incidents are being investigated with regard to the police officers involved? Are they put on administrative leave? Are they put on administrative desk duty? What happens?
Yes, most times these officers are placed on administrative duties, and they would be, they would also be sent to the police social worker to be counseled, because we need to have these officers counseled after every shooting. We have these officers counseled, and they would be placed on desk duties.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me ask you this very hard question then. Was in fact, it's been alleged that the shooting in Maruga with the gentleman was linked in fact that those investigations into threats for voter during the election. Is that accurate?
Well, I can't say at this stage because the investigation is ongoing, and I know that all these reasons would come out after the investigation is completed. So I don't want to speculate at this stage.
Okay.
Okay. In terms of getting back to the election, and because it is election day, and of course, when we spoke to several politicians last week, they admitted, and political analysts, they felt that this was a tense election because polls have indicated that like a statistical dead heat. They're not sure who's going to win.
Yes.
So that will, of course, ramp up emotion, some of which you saw explode on social media in terms of videos. What are some of the do's and don'ts that people should observe today in terms of going to vote? Like for one, I know one that always crops up is, can you wear a red shirt or a yellow shirt or jersey? Yes. The colors of the various parties and stuff like that. Can you give us some guidance with regard to that?
Yes. And that is one of the major ones, the colors of the parties. It's a kind of undue influence, and we have it under the Representation of the People Act. And we have some of the more popular offenses, and I'll read some of them. Tampering with ballot boxes, that is one that we hope that persons do not engage in. That's the reason we have police officers there at all these polling stations. And prohibitions of employment of band of music. So we cannot have anybody hiring any band to play any music during the course of the day, advertising any party or any type of activities like that, or any band playing music, for instance, the musical band as well as the DJ trucks, right? We do not want that happening today. All these have a penalty of $7,500 if found guilty. Then we have persons not congregating near the polling stations. So you cannot come within 100 yards of the polling station and congregate, except there's a long line and you are waiting to go in to vote, right? And other persons who are there lawfully. So we would know who are there lawfully. The officers on site would know who are supposed to be there lawfully. Influencing electors to vote for a particular party. You cannot be doing that within 100 yards as well. And we suggest that today you shouldn't be doing that. That should have been done before. The wearing of the colors was close to that of the parties that are up for election. You know, wear something multicolored, wear something neutral, because we do not want any influencing. These badges, wearing of badges or having any flags or anything like that, we advise that you do not have these things up to date, and more so in close proximity to the polling stations. And then we have
stick up in there, ACP Smith. The issue of the colors, because the EBC also issued a statement that you can wear any color that you want, except that you don't have to wear an insignia on it. So it's nothing wrong with wearing a particular color jersey that a party is known by, but as long as the insignia is not on it. But so how do you rationalize that with what you just said?
I will say this too. You see, when we look at perception, some persons may interpret the law differently. Some officers may interpret the law differently. Rather than be hassled today, check your wardrobe and find something neutral and wear that. Because a police officer might pull you up, not understanding the law properly, not understanding the manner in which EBC translated this or interpreted. And they will stop you and ask you questions, and it might be kind of embarrassing at this stage. So I believe, just to be on the side of caution, wear something different today.
A caller someone just put on the chat, and I was about to ask that. Yes. If you may have gone to work, but your work uniform is a color that closely resembles a political, how do you rationalize that?
Well, that's reasonable. Any officer reasonably thinking, and you tell them that you're on your way to work and this is your uniform. Of course, we cannot tell you to change your clothes because that's a uniform, right? But in fact, we just want you to be on a side of caution. I know yesterday on another program, a question was asked of even having these banners at places close to the polling stations, and the legal officer advised as well that on an abundance of caution, that you should remove them so that you wouldn't be influencing anybody by your banners that you have there on polling day. Yeah. So, you know, it's questions that people would ask and look for any loophole, but it's just to save you the embarrassment and the hassle. Look for something else in your wardrobe and wear it today so that nobody could hassle you and you could go and vote free and fair and fearless.
Yeah. The issue of alcohol, I know that the rule is that bars must not sell alcohol between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Yes.
What about people who might have had a drink at home, or people walk out the road with a drink from their home? What is that also against the law?
Well, you shouldn't be drinking in public, alcohol in public. But in Trinidad, you know, we do anything that we choose to. You shouldn't be drinking alcohol in public, consuming it in public. So if you have your drink at home, we cannot stop you from doing that. And it caters for the licensed persons who hold license, or licensed premises. They cannot sell, distribute, give away for free any alcohol during the hours that you spoke of, between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
And 6 p.m. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you willing to take some calls, ACP Richard Smith?
Of course, of course.
All right, so we can open up our lines at this point, 281-1315. 281-1315. You can WhatsApp call us or direct call us. And of course, we are speaking to ACP Richard Smith, who is the Assistant Commissioner of Police with many titles, including...
But the man has more titles than the actual commissioner, you realize that? The man talk like he has more authority than the actual commissioner, yeah?
Well, ultimately, the commissioner has all the authority. So he has all our titles in one. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so we take some of your calls. We open up the lines at this point, 281-1315, 281-1315. And of course, you can WhatsApp us or direct call us.
Yeah. But we have a caller there, so we can take it. Caller, good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, ACP Smith.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure speaking to you. Mr. Smith, I know you gave the generic response that journalists would, to the question that journalists would ask about we have to let the investigation take its course and whatnot and whatnot. That's the generic response that police give. However, Paul Richard and Wendell would testify.
Richard Ragubarsing, sir.
Richard Ragubarsing, sorry about that. Over 2 years ago, a whole commissioner of police came on this very same program. Was it a commissioner? Yes, I believe it was. Came on this very same program to say that an investigation would take place into, and these are my words, into an assassination that took place in the middle of Port of Spain, where they said they had video evidence. They also said the video evidence would be provided to the public within 3 months. Am I lying into any one of you all?
It was former Commissioner McDonald Jacob who had said that, but he didn't use the word assassination. It was shooting.
The videos would be released within 3 months, and the investigation should take at least 3 months. We are going on 2 years, and we are still waiting on our findings from this investigation. So when you come there and talk about let the investigation take its course, it doesn't give me any satisfaction or any confidence in the police service that I would hear that any kind of justice or I would get any feedback on these so-called investigations that the TTPS does do. All right?
Okay,
all right,
thank you.
How do you respond to that, ACP James, in terms of I suppose it's an issue of integrity of what the police say and what they eventually do. That's really the question that he's saying.
Yes, and I understand, and he's speaking about 2 years ago, right? And we try to be transparent as much as we can. Now, these investigations may take some time, and according to how the witnesses come forward. We also have, as I said before, we are not the only person who are investigating this. We have Professional Standards Bureau overlooking this. We also have a parallel investigation being done by PCA, Police Complaints Authority, under Mr. West. And at the end of the day, we have these files being submitted, and they go, if the shooting, as the police may have done it, is justified, it doesn't mean that when the coroner does his or her inquest, that they cannot find that the police were culpable and direct that they be charged for a particular offense, whether it's murder or whatever they decide to do. So the fact is, it's not at the end of it all there. And at some time, the police may not report to the public as they expect it to be, because it's 2 years and the investigation may not have been completed. I do not know, I cannot say at this stage. However, I'm saying that it is not the end of it all. And sometime later on, you may hear that the officers who were responsible for this shooting may be prosecuted for it as instructed by the coroner, or they may be set free as the coroner would have reviewed and done the inquest and said that the officers acted within the limits of the law. That is how it goes. So I apologize if enough information wasn't supplied to the general public as it relates to this investigation. I cannot say at this stage what's the status of that investigation, because I do not know which one he's speaking about exactly. And then we do not give generic answers. This is the answer that I give as it relates to the information that I have and that I could reveal to the public at this stage. Cannot reveal too much more.
But you do recognize, ACP Smith, that for a lot of Trinidadians and Tobagonians, many times there are murders that take place and the investigations taking place, and you never hear if anything happens, whether anybody is held accountable.
Yes.
And it's an important tool in the fight against crime that even that the criminal element is aware that the police are holding people accountable for cases. Yes. And do you agree that sometimes the police is less than satisfactory in terms of giving that sort of information?
I would say so at that point, but I know that we have a excellent corporate communication team head by Ms. Joanna Archie and Ms. Michelle Lewis, who's the public information officer. And I know that they reveal information on a regular basis as to what is taking place in the TTPS. I know much more can be done, and I know much more will be done under their stewardship. And I am also overseeing homicide, as I said before, and I know that information as it relates to the detection of these homicides would in fact be published on the social media and even the normal media platform.
Can I ask a question? Let me just ask a question, and as he's talking about that, and you talk about the communications department. Why is it, Mr. Smith, that the police, because we have so many investigations that sometimes the public feels or forgets about, why do we not have some kind of update, just as they have the police briefing every week, to bring us up to speed with some of these investigations that people may have forgotten and where they are at?
Yes, and this is one of the plans that Ms. Archie and in collaboration with the commissioner, have been speaking about, and that we need to share more, be more transparent with the public of Trinidad and Tobago, because we recognize that they are not being given the information that they deserve to have. And we need to respond timely as it relates to certain issues that are affecting us as it relates to crime. So we are in fact looking at that. What we were doing before, at the beginning of the year, is reporting mainly on the state of emergency that we had. And that took up most of our reporting. If we were to go into all the different investigations, it would have been a long press briefing. What we will be concentrating on now, post-election, is exactly what you are saying there, because we have already had meetings as it relates to that. So that is exactly.
Mr. Smith, I have two questions for you. One is that just yesterday, a former very senior police officer, who is now a candidate in the election, addressed the nation, I should say, because it went viral, about certain characters, evidence that he has. I don't know if he has it. I don't know if he brought it to the police. That will be part of the question too. About people being paid to not vote or to vote a certain way in this election. Now, this is a former senior police officer. Just 2 months ago, he was a former senior police officer. He resigned and he's now a candidate. He is telling the public that this is taking place. Is it that a report came to the police that he can support?
Well, I cannot say at this stage. I heard about it. I cannot say at this stage if he reported any of his information to any police officer. Right? I know he knows the procedure, and if he has that information, I expect that he would do the honorable thing and report it to the relevant authorities, even if he has to call one of us, even if he has to call the Deputy Commissioner Operations, the Commissioner, or even Deputy Commissioner in charge of investigations and intelligence. I expect that he knows the procedure and he would do the honorable thing.
So you can't say as yet that he in fact did?
I can't say. I don't know if he spoke to anyone at this stage. I cannot say.
All right. And the other question I have is the issue of body cams. What is really happening with that? Why can't we get that sorted out once and for all in the TTPS?
Okay, we have body cams being used by members of the TTPS, and we have some issues with some of them. We have an older version, and there are some issues as it relates to the new version that we ordered. It was all over the press and all these things. So, that is being ironed out as we speak. However, the ones that we have are currently in use, we have some issues as it relates to the charging capabilities. The fact that the batteries are going through expiry at this stage, it is not holding the type of charge that it's supposed to hold. And we have other technical issues as it relates to those. But those that are working, they are in fact being used by officers of the various units and stations at this time.
Do you have a number in terms of how many are actively in use?
I can't say at this stage, but I know some divisions have approximately, according to the size of the division. So where I was in North Central, we had about 60 body cams for the use by the entire division. That is over 300 officers. So we had to, utilize them on a kind of rotational basis. And then we have the issues, as I said, of technical, as well as some of the parts are going through to the expiry date at this stage.
But, as you're talking body cameras also, because we understand, okay, there are a lot of officers, and we may not be, every officer may be able to have a body cam. But if a unit is going out, why isn't it mandatory that at least one person in that unit has on a body camera, so in case something goes wrong, that we can have that kind of evidence or to put it to the public as to what really transpired?
Yes, and that is an excellent question. And we do that. We have officers, at least one officer on the party where there are cameras that are working. So we have these officers, most of the task force officers who are the first line, first responders, the ERP officers, they have their body cams, at least one of the officers. Once the body cams are working, they would be wearing these body cams.
All right. We have any more calls, Sir Charles? We could give ACP.
No, we don't.
Okay. Well, AC Smith, anything that we may have missed and you'd like to share with us this morning?
I'd just like to say that, today is polling day. It's a time when everybody has been anticipating. We would see the results tonight. But the thing about it is we must maintain, humanity. We must remember that tomorrow we have to live together, work together, even share a meal together. And if we make it bad for each other today, then how can we look the other person in the eyes tomorrow and say, what can you say to them if you make it bad for them? So the fact is, let us have a free and fair election. This is we don't want a government to be in power who, when they're in the wrong way, then we would be suffering. So for the persons who might be overzealous and fanatics or voting for the first time and feel that you should go beyond, I think you should rethink what you're doing. We have officers outside, we have officers at every polling station, every polling center, and we are out there to ensure that we have a safe and secure elections 2025. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
All right. ACP, thank you very much for joining us on the Breakfast Show. Spread the word. Don't be afraid to tell and share the footage of today's meeting so that people can be better informed. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, ACP Richard Smith, for joining us on the Breakfast Show. We appreciate him taking the time to speak with us today. Of course, it is election day in Trinidad and Tobago, and we are at this point awaiting some word from
our correspondent, our international correspondent out there.
Well, our correspondent is here now.
Oh, he is?
He is.
All right. Well, if he is, good.
Excellent.
We have him on camera, or we just have him on air?
We just have him on the phone.
People want to see what Tony Fraser look like too,
Go ahead, Tony. Give us an update about what you're seeing at polling stations.
When they're like too old for that. So I have morning, gentlemen, morning to our listeners. And I have traversed a number of constituencies, polling stations from Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. I am now in St. Joseph Park, in that most marginal of constituencies, the Aranguez, St. Joseph. I went through the Aranguez area and now in that famous park in St. Joseph where the lights used to go on at one point in time, and one of the big trees here. Number of polling agents of the two parties, the two major parties. I haven't seen anybody from the NTA just yet. But they're here and they're observing things. Of my observations with regard to polling in the various areas that I've been to, everything's smooth. I have not got one hitch yet from any of the persons who are agents of the party, so everything seems to be doing fine. In terms of numbers, generally 2 dozen, 3 dozen persons around the polling station at any point in time. I think I've seen the largest number here in St. Joseph now, at the St. Joseph Government Primary School. It's a large school, a large compound, and quite a number of people. I would say 50 plus people in and around the polling stations at this point in time. So that's a general kind of look of the polling situation on this election day. Any questions that you want to ask?
Tony, Mr. Fraser,
yeah.
Would you have been able to observe if there were any issues with the colors people are wearing? Because I have to tell you, ACP Smith kind of may have thrown a little confusion into people by saying wear multicolors, avoid wearing the actual color of the thing. But EBC has made it very clear that you can wear any color except don't wear colors with insignias of political parties. Would you have observed any incident like that?
No, and I'm looking around in the square now where the party polling observers are, and they are mostly in white. The UNC supporters, observers, whatever they call them, they're in white mainly, and the PNM group, they have on a green jersey, a dark green jersey and some kind of color pants. So I haven't seen any party colors displayed at the polling stations that I've been to.
What about members of the public? Are they in any party colors, or they just or are they avoiding the main colors?
Yeah, good question. As I turned around and looked at the polling station here, I see a man with a bright red tie. But generally, outside of him, people are in their normal colors, black and white, brown, that kind of thing. I'm not.
So man just wearing a tie just so. What else you have? What else you want, Mr. Fraser?
No, that was spoiler. Not this one. You know, the police told spoiler to go and put on something. He went and put on a tie. The fellow has black clothes and he has a red tie shining brightly in front of him.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that update.
One of the things that I hear, you know, we talk about disruption and difficulty with voting and so on. And, you know, we overstate that case in the instance of Trinidad and Tobago. We've been having elections here since 1925. It's 100 years. And of course, at certain elections, a party loses, and they start screaming fraud and so on. And usually, it's proven to be a false alarm, sour grapes kind of thing. But people going into and coming out of the polling stations, young people inside of the administering the election, the voting, they're quite competent and comfortable. I have seen no difficulty at all.
You know, it reminds me of another question I should ask, as you mentioned it just now there. What are like the age groups of the people you're observing at these polling stations?
Yeah, it's a mixture. You know, I've seen a fair number of young people, but major, I would say, would be middle-aged people, older persons, but some young people like myself, you know, being outside and voting. I'm here, all.
Thank you so much, Tony Fraser, for that update. We appreciate you. You're keeping us updated on what is going on across various polling stations in Trinidad.
Take care. All the best.
All right, Mr. Fraser. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tony Fraser. There. Yeah. So people are moving, especially in the center in St. Joseph area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Aranguez St. Joseph. Is that the name of the constituency, right?
Aranguez St. Joseph.
Aranguez St. Joseph. Yes. That's the first constituency on the list of from the EBC. You know, Aranguez St. Joseph.
All right. Well, we're going to an ad break at this point, and when we come back, we'll take some of your calls.
Yes.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box. RSRR Productions has done it again. Married and Mischievous was a riot at Sapa. Now we head to Cipriani College for 2 nights only. On Saturday the 3rd of May at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 4th at 6:30 p.m. Tickets available now at usual outlets and from Wednesday the 30th of April at Cipriani College box office. This play is strictly for adults. Married and Mischievous is an experience you'll never forget.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Of course, we're taking your calls at this point as we head towards the 8 a.m. hour on today, Monday, 28th of April, Election Day in Trinidad and Tobago and Canada. So we take some of your calls, 281-1315, 281-1315, as we head towards 8 a.m. this morning. You can direct call us or you can WhatsApp call us. You have a choice, 281-1315.
I want to ask Wendell a question because Wendell is very close to the thing, you know. party
I
working with
ain't so
people.
close as you think again, eh? But go ahead.
Well, as close as some of the people think that you are. I mean, like at this stage, I mean, like, how are you feeling? You feeling sort of anxiety running through you because I know by this time tomorrow it will be a whole different thing for a whole lot of people. But that's for you on a day like today, at this stage, we don't know what's going to happen, how people are going to vote. You've done all that you can. You talk to people. What does it feel like for you on a day like today?
Well, I'll tell you what. Prior to 2010, I had that anxiety feeling. Right, 2010 changed everything for me in terms of that election and what happened on that day. It was like surreal. So I have had several people, everybody who you could think about, message me and calling me and ask me, so how is he feeling, boy? What you think will happen? And I can't answer that because after 2010, politics changed for me. You understand? So I don't answer questions like that. I tell you what I do. I mean, I have a role to play that I do, and when we would briefing the drivers, because you have drivers who will go out and pick up people to vote on one. I say pick up everybody. It don't matter. You see people going to vote, pick them up. You're not asking them or trying to figure out who they're going to vote for. Make sure and get people safely to the polling stations and back home if possible. You understand? That's your work. You're working only to find you can't identify your vote. You can in some cases, but help everybody, because there'll be elderly people walking on the road this morning who don't mind the little drop. You understand?
Trust me.
Just do that.
Let's take the callers as they come. Caller, good morning. Thanks, Wendell.
I know, good to say, Sir Charles. I'm not paying for this call, one of your producers, we are paying for this call.
It's not WhatsApp you're calling?
No, I call it not true. I don't do WhatsApp, so I find that most of the time that is a waste of time for me. I prefer to just call fast. So, good morning, all.
Good morning, Mrs. R.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Wendell. And good morning,
Christy.
Good morning.
What was the question again? I forgot the question you asked.
Wait, the poll question?
No. You asked the question after just now or no? Organized.
I mean, Sir Charles asked me a question.
I was asking if you felt any kind of anxiety building.
Was he feeling anxious?
Oh, okay. Well, so this one for me, I have some anxiety because I'm more involved. I actually did more, more work with my party and stuff. So I am actually excited. I think, the work was put in. I've been attending a lot of meetings. I've been listening to both sides attentively. So I'm quite anxious. And just hoping and praying, fingers crossed, that victory is, for the correct party, and that's it. But I'm actually more involved than 2015. 2015, I was just going with the flow. But as you get older, you become more wiser. You become more, you're more knowledgeable to what is facts and what is not factual, what is just myth. So I think once you get older, you get more wiser. As they say, with age brings wisdom. You know what you're going to do, and that's it. So I'm excited. I can't wait for this afternoon.
Yesterday evening, I sit down chatting with a partner who I didn't see for a little while. I thought he had given up on me, but he come and check me, and we sit down talking, and we trying to remember what we were doing in 2020. What happened after the elections in 2020? Because 2020 was COVID, you remember? So there was very little campaigning. I don't think there were any final rallies per se, So we trying to figure out what did we do 2020?
Caller, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning, Miss Sampson.
It's not over till the fat lady sing. I'm waiting on a ride here.
All right. Well, if it was in St. James, definitely you're right. We have drivers all over the place.
Okay, you all have a good day.
All right. You have a good one and be safe as you go, Miss Sampson.
You want to go through any of the comments, Wendell, as we head towards 8?
Candice, people were commenting when ACP Smith was on. So Candice Pascal had asked, when will those plans be implemented? Mrs. R said the officer by Trinity uses, she can have a body cam every morning. Benson Stanton says there are no reported incidents where body cams were used. You might be right.
Yeah.
And we've never seen footage from a body cam here ever in Trinidad. And DL says, Wendell, tomorrow we still good, win, lose, or draw. Of course. Christus says, Wendell, I thought I was the international correspondent. Yeah, well, sometimes when you're ready, when you're behaving yourself. But
well,
yeah, what happens later, there are going to be a lot of depressed people and there are going to be a lot of happy people. One way or the other. Because this election was so divisive in terms of how it was fought. I just hope tomorrow, the police work is not today, it might be tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser, even though I really hoping it's 2021 or 1919.
1993.
I just love the back of it. But you know, there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser. But you know, after all is said and done, we are still one country that has to navigate a very difficult geopolitical situation.
Yes,
the planet right now. And so whoever wins, we have to unite behind them regardless, and take Trinidad and Tobago forward as Trinidad and Tobago navigates these waters in this geopolitical situation that is playing out across the planet. So you know, have faith in your countrymen. But there will be a victor and there will be a loser. So whether you're happy and gleeful and whether you're a little bit depressed about the results come Tuesday, just remember, all is welcome. All are welcome, at Married and Mischievous at Priani College on Saturday and Sunday. If you're in a good mood, it'll put you in a better mood. And if you're a little depressed, it'll put you in a great mood. Trust me on that.
I can safely add to that, Richard, and say all are also welcome by Rumbox, because if you're in a bad mood, you're sure you're going to get in a good mood after a visit to Rumbox. You know, but yeah. You know what I've observed, guys, and I want to tell the people who locked on to us. We have had the highest numbers ever today viewing the show, right? I've seen. We can see it. We've had the highest numbers today, and I don't know if you all noticed too. The numbers even goes up even higher just around 8 o'clock. So I know if
we need to go to a third hour. That's what you're advocating.
It looked like the people who viewing us, the people who logged on to us, trying to tell us something. I feel Sir Charles orchestrate that, you know.
I wish I could go to a third hour, 8 or 9.
Oh my God, I want to do it so fast.
Because we need you to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's very important, as it drives the algorithm. So like and subscribe. You know our goal is 100,000 subscribers. We make no bones about it. That's what we're aiming for. So like and subscribe and share the feed. And just to remind you, let me show you that. Of course, this is where we close off the Power Breakfast Show on this election day morning. And oh my goodness, this is going to be a day that's going to be...
Can't drop the power.
Richard, look at those numbers. I think we owe it to people. Richard, I think we owe it to people to go another 15, 20 minutes.
What, you mean today?
Look at the numbers.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that 2,000?
We've never reached that far. We've never reached that many.
So, of course,
just on that platform.
So let's take a few more calls before we actually formally close off. Because people are maybe interactive. Maybe people can tell us how they're
voting. If you notice, my fingers have nothing on it yet. This is the first time I'm doing radio for an election where I have not voted as yet.
Yeah, because you usually vote early at 6.
Yeah.
The times I have voted, I have always skated in like 10 to 6 p.m.
Oh, gosh.
5 to 6 p.m. I go down because I'm always like, should I vote? Should I not vote? Should I vote? Should I not vote? And then when I voted, I've gone like 10 to 5 to 6. And it's usually very empty. Well, usually no. Usually there are 1 or 2 people still there. The late skaters in to vote and just get the process done. So
you just have to make sure you're in the line.
Once you're in the line, it's fine. Once you're in the line, it's fine. And of course, a lot of times the polling booth is not that far from you. It's not far from me at all. I mean, if I drive, I'll reach there in like 30 seconds, a minute. If I walk, it'll probably take me 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. Where I vote is not too far from me either. You know, so at least in St. James, you know, I still vote. I still have my ancestral voting. You know, I've never changed.
So let's find. I mean, if people have voted already, they could call us to tell us what the process was like as we hold on for a few more minutes before we close up the show. 281-1315, 281-1315. Tell us what the process was like for you if you voted already. Of course, if you're listening to us on your phone in the line, you can tell us too. We will want to hear. So you can WhatsApp call us at 281-1315, or you could direct call us at 281-1315.
All right.
You know, I went out the road yesterday evening, and I'm looking at the stark contrast. So what was happening between Saturday and Sunday? You know, Saturday along the East-West corridor, it was traffic was a mess. You can't go anywhere from oh my word! And then yesterday evening, you know, all that is gone, and the place is just quiet. There's as I said, the calm before the storm. Hardly any traffic, hardly anybody outside. I don't know what was going on yesterday evening.
Yes, you're very right. Yes, Saturday was traffic jams. My goodness. And they opened up the PBR for anybody. And of course, there's a part of the PBR that work is taking place and you have to come off the PBR. So the main road was hell. You understand? Because both the two major political parties held their rallies along the same PBR. One of the Yadrong and one of the Arangwes. So you kind of almost had to go on the PBR, you know?
Yeah, so people who didn't have transport. But caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Wendell. I just want to say a blessed good morning to you all, gentlemen. Today was lovely. I done the parody and it was process was nice.
Okay, what area are you in? You in the Champlain area?
Champlain.
All right.
Okay. It was smooth sailing.
Nice, gentlemen. You'll have a great and beautiful day today.
Yes, all right.
Wendell, I know you could be smiling.
Well, I always smile. I tell people after 20.
You extra smile today, Wendell. Extra smile today. Richard, no backlash where you people station, eh? Right. You hear me, Richard? Go back in that station. Right.
I heard.
Yeah, he be even today. Thanks very much, caller.
Of course, I should remind people that tomorrow, which is Results Tuesday, we are going to have a chock-full packed show tomorrow on the breakfast show on New Era TT Radio. I mean, in the morning, we start off with Gary Griffith joining us at 6:15 a.m. to give us his sense of what the results are, whatever they are. And of course, we'll be speaking making attempts to speak to candidates on both sides of the divide, if we can, during that 6 to 7 hour. And on the 8 to 9 hour, 7 to 8 hours, sorry, I said 8 to 9, I'm jumping. 7 to 8 hour, we'll be speaking to Rishi Miraj, political analyst, who will give us a sense of what he felt the results indicated, as well as Mariano Brown will also be joining us as part of our panel discussion tomorrow on Results 2025. We'll be discussing that tomorrow, so look forward to it. It'll be lots of interesting talk and lots of opinions on whatever happens in the results as they roll out tonight.
The weather is absolutely perfect today. I hope it remained that way. Remember that year 2015 when there was the rain and they had the extended voting and that went to court. The EBC extended voting by 1 hour. It ended up in court.
Yep. Remember that, yeah? I remember that incident. So we still taking some of your calls as we head towards 8:15 because we are closing the show at 8:15 this morning at Wendell, asking that it be extended because it's election day. 281-1315, 281-1315. You can call us now. Tell us how the voting process was for you. If you have voted already, if you're planning to vote, what your concerns are, whatever you want to talk about, actually. 281-1315. Direct call us or WhatsApp call us. You can see the number on the ticket tape beneath the screen.
And this is a new name who said that 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Please, we'll send our invoice for you, Crystal Stevenson, whomever you are.
We should take a vote on that one then.
We have to do a poll on that someday, you know.
Take a vote on that, yeah. Should we go till 9 a.m.? Yes or no? That'll be the poll.
Miss Sampson's calling us back. I wonder if Miss Sampson went and vote quick. Miss Sampson went out already?
No, I called to say the liars and them line up because, you know, every time after election, you end up in the court according to the people.
In the courthouse.
And them line up.
The liars line up. All right.
Yes, the liars line up.
Richard
I thought she trying to get transport. Come back in for that?
My word.
Hey, go and get your transport and go and vote. Come back into punk lawyers.
I'm starting to feel like all them numbers climbing to monitor, you know, Richard. You see those numbers just climbing and people logging out to the show. I feel like calling just to monitor and say, hey, we go take Wendell to court or we go take Richard to court.
Impossible.
It might be attorney's arm logging on this.
Maybe not to cry. So we're taking your calls 281-1315 as we head towards our cutoff time on the breakfast show this morning. Election Day 2025. Good morning, caller.
Caller, good morning.
Good morning. I hope you are hearing me.
We're hearing you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right. I keep hearing about the two sides, and you know, let's keep them on the two sides, and there's a third side that has fielded candidates in all constituencies, you know.
Patriotic Front.
Hello?
Yeah, are you speaking about the Patriotic Front? They have 37 candidates.
Yeah, the Patriotic Front, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about three parties.
To mention that fact, there's a third.
Well, third and fourth. There are quite a few other combatants in Tobago West have 8-9 candidates.
But we have reference to third parties this morning.
Yeah, I recognize that, but there seems to be in speech when you all are speaking there seems to be only two. And what I'm saying is, I'm not denying that there are more than two, but I'm saying that there's one in particular.
But the two we talk about are the biggest one.
Three, you know, you could mention three. And then there are the others, so to speak, because I don't know if I was corrected just now about the number of candidates, but I thought it was all the seats, all 41.
No, there are 41 seats, but the caller, there are 41 seats, but the only party, there's only one party that fielded candidates in all 41 seats.
Yeah. The Patriotic Front did 37, Wendell, and the National Transformation Alliance did about 15.
I think it's 15
17.
Yeah.
17. National Transformation Alliance did 17. Patriotic Front did 37, and then you have the two major parties. Your other parties besides that, but you know, the two bigger parties.
Yeah, the Patriotic Front did 37, I think it is.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? So
I think they have more candidates than the UNC.
When we put the emphasis there, it's kind of planted in people's mind that there are only two, you know.
No, caller, if you've been listening to us, we interviewed the political leaders of all these other parties, you know. The only two we didn't do are, in fact, the two that you say we only call it.
I'm not denying that, notwithstanding that. What I'm saying is that this morning, because I listen every day, so Charles will call me a silent listener, and he knows his voice very well. I listen every day to Sir Charles, whether he's on this, wherever he is, and let me put it like that. And I'm talking about this morning that there's only reference to two.
We will accept the criticism, except that you may have also missed when I read out certain areas, all the candidates who were contesting in those seats. Right? But we are okay with it. Right? Thank you. Any other calls, Charles? Because it's 8:14.
Yeah, I had one that just jumped out, so I'm kind of giving it a little 30 seconds to see if it'll come back. All right.
Yeah. You know me, Wendell, I'm taking 1993 or 2020.
2021.
I mean, the big parties.
And the three, Richard, you need to also say for that benefit of that caller, must be from the other political parties. Everybody from one each from the other political parties. Not three from one other.
Patriotic Front and NTA.
NTA and APP. They must get one each.
Yeah, well, you also have TPP too, eh?
No, well, TPP is in Tobago.
Yeah, but it matters. Those
okay,
matter.
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't know how it's all going. We don't know how it's all going to play out. But my personal opinion is, I don't mind if some third parties win some seats to make it more interesting. And you know why I think it will be more interesting? Because it means that those third parties will have to support a particular party for governance. And so both parties are going to have to negotiate with those third parties. In addition to which, I think the mere idea that those third parties have to align themselves to get you into power, it keeps you on your toes.
Yes.
So you don't get comfortable and arrogant, as sometimes politicians can get after. This is the point at which they're the least arrogant. Politicians are the least arrogant around this time. They're shaking hands, they're kissing babies, they're hugging up everybody, they're dancing in the road, they're doing big jump splits in the air when they're dancing. You know, they're doing everything possible to get you to vote for them. This is where they are the most humble. Come tomorrow.
You know, I wish you could have shown that video.
One minute there, guys. One minute there, guys. They have a couple calls coming in. Let's see if we can take that. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. My name is Pythagoras. Charles, I'm with you a long time. I have a question for the good gentleman. This is the first time I'm calling in. I've always listened.
Tell them where you're calling from.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm calling from Maryland, Germantown, Maryland. I'm on my way to work, so I'm a bit late. Normally, I would peak in that number at 8 o'clock because that's when I'm at work, and I bring you guys up on the net. And I look at you, but I'm driving, and I do have internet, but I can't look at the video whilst I'm driving. Here's the thing. I would hope that the next party, the next government would consider having people who live outside the United States vote for them. You know, allow us to vote. What's the problem? I mean, right in DC here, we have the embassy. I'm sure they could make some kind of arrangements. What are the hindrances that would prevent them from allowing nationals living abroad, whether it's here in the US, Canada, UK, Europe, wherever? What's the problem in allowing them to vote in these sort of elections? I mean, come on.
I'm a big advocate for that, caller, and I've raised it several times, that I think that they should be allowed to vote. But I'll tell you what I think the big hindrance is. I think the politicians in Trinidad and Tobago on both sides, in terms of the major parties, and with respect to the other caller, the major parties have been the ones in governance who could do that and make the legislative changes that are necessary. I think both sides are reluctant because the voters abroad, well, and if you're opening it abroad, it means to the entire planet, because you have Trinidadians and Tobagonians who reside all over. I think they think it's too much of an unknown. They don't know who those voters are going to vote for, and so I think they are scared to do it. But I totally agree with you. That I think Trinidadian and Tobagonian citizens across the planet should be entitled to vote in our general election, regardless of where you live. I totally agree with you.
And I believe whoever is the party is afraid that they may be voted out because the population out here are not as party driven as the Trinidadian population. You know, they're not in any particular corner. And change is something I believe. Well, hey, I left Trinidad many of the 80s to come here for change.
and I have no regrets. But the point is, I believe a lot more people would be interchanged, and whoever is the ruling party are afraid that they may be the ones voted out. So why will I give the people ammunition to shoot me down? So I'm just saying, that's my take. But I always wonder, what's the problem? I thought maybe there was some sort of a constitutional bit that had to be overcome. But come on, I mean, really,
I'm sure it might be a constitutional issue.
Thanks very much, Kola.
Thanks, Kola.
Yeah.
You know what I want to say, Richard? I'm seeing a lot of people, of course, commenting on the fact that we should go till 9, right? So, Richard, show them the reason how we could go to 9. Play that ad there for the advertising.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Ta-da! That's how we can go till 9.
Yeah, you have your business, and bring your business, and let's do some business. All right.
Ta-da!
Well, good morning to you. Very quickly.
Hey, fellas. Yeah, I think it went well. I was watching the presiding officer. She was very helpful. I find the police and then helping all the little elders and then who coming in, put them on the ground, sit down. I find they were very caring that way now.
What area is that, Dean?
St. John's Road, St. Augustine.
Constituency. That's
yeah.
Yeah, to the Pune area there. So, it's good to see people being helpful and taking care of the elders as they come to vote, put them on the seat. Although the janitor now had the other look for the janitor. So with the younger police, it's kind of like, allowing the line to go haywire because there was 4 rooms before, now they break it into 2 rooms. So that's an interesting question to ask. I don't know if that was a cost decision on that because we normally vote with 3 rooms. Now it's 2 rooms. So they put everything into 2 rooms. I think the wheelchair access was good. So a woman in a wheelchair, she was getting in. So mobility, everything was... So I like it. Every vibe. The little janitor, they will need more chairs for the elders when they need to wait and thing. I find and the police was looking for the janitor for more chairs, but she disappeared. But they will have to do that, I guess, as the day go on and the elders come out for them to sit and wait while going in. So but it was good. It was smooth. I think nothing with the voting outside, people living on the outside. I know constitutionally, if you're Trinidadian and you're living in another country, you should have the right to vote. I know that's a situation, but I think that's if you're living years upon and you're a resident, I think that's problematic in a sense. Diasporic people interfering and when they do a skin in the game, I don't know. I find that because there's privilege in 2 things. I know in culture when I talk to my friends and I find you're privileged, one, because you're living in a space where you are living in a privileged space, and then you are...
Are we living in a privileged space too?
No, if it goes back to that way that we could vote into the American thing because you're American living in a country.
Americans here can vote in American elections, as can Canadians.
Yeah, well, I think if it's right. So I think if you're Trinidadian short term, you're working, and then if you live in a residency, green card, and you basically...
I would disagree with you, Dean. Once you're a citizen, you're a citizen. If you gave up your citizenship, then fine. But once you're a citizen, you are entitled to vote because you are a citizen.
I suspect Dean meant to also.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Dean.
You can't have a qualified citizenship. You can't say, well, your citizenship is only good up to this point. But you understand? No. If you're a citizen, you're a citizen. And if you are living abroad, but I think the problem is the amount of diaspora we have.
Yeah.
Because the diaspora living abroad is probably easily over 100,000 or more, maybe close to
Yes.
200,000.
Yeah, I'm sure it's more. I'm sure it's more.
So it's a huge amount of people. So I think that's the concern. But regardless, if you are confident in how you govern and you're governing well, you shouldn't be afraid of it.
Yeah. Just some new names on the chat. Otteron. Where did it go? Hey, all right, not quite up there.
Yeah. Call online. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, morning. I have been trying to get into this program for the longest while, and a lady named coming up on the phone.
Who? A lady name what?
A lady name?
Yeah.
And the 281 number?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it?
Did you call us before?
But Mr. Patrick, you called the show before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time you're dialing, put on your glasses. 281-1315.
No, I think I understand what he's talking about, because sometimes when you get a number, right? As we got this number, the person who had the number before, because sometimes no, they don't have it. But what happens, they
voice message.
I love that creditors as we call it for that.
What are you talking about?
Yes, a lot of creditors just be calling this number to find out where this lady is.
Oh gosh, don't say that.
I had to constantly tell people that no, she don't have this number. Yeah.
You calling, you using the app with call apps, so that's why you see a woman coming up, but it's us. You using call apps.
It doesn't matter smart people how they don't know you're calling.
Well, anyhow, you're calling us, right?
Yes. No, I'm trying to find out something. While I was here, the policeman handcuffed the man and shoot the man.
That's what you're hearing. That's what Lincoln said. But
yeah, that's what I've gone through the video out here.
That was Lincoln bias. I don't know how it. Lincoln has been trying to call me. I don't know why he's trying to call me, and I'm still on the air.
But something wrong with that. Something wrong with that guy.
Yeah, but if that is the way it happens.
The police officer.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, that's something wrong with that.
I haven't seen it, so I can't see.
Yeah, but let's say it's an investigation. I have to see how it all plays out. Yeah, but thanks so much, Mr. Patrick, for joining us this morning.
Yeah, man.
Okay, thanks.
Some breaking news that is happening internationally. Just in case you thought Trinidad and Tobago was alone in situations like this, there are huge power cut causes chaos in Spain and Portugal as trains and traffic lights and payments are hit. What? A massive power cut has hit large parts of Spain and Portugal. Spanish power operator Red Electrica said there are blackouts across the country. Shops and restaurants in Madrid were plunged into darkness, while play at the Madrid Open is suspended. In Portugal, police say traffic lights are also down, and the metro in Lisbon and Porto is closed. There are long queues at cash points in the Portuguese capital as card payments are not working. Andorra and parts of France were also hit, although the Balearic and Canary Islands seem not to have been affected. So that's happening in Europe right now.
Send me that story now, Richard.
It's on BBC London.
Up till late last night, Gershwin had me up because he lives in Portugal. Because whilst it was midnight for me here, it was 5 a.m. already for him, and he feel like 5 a.m. is 5 a.m. here, and he want to talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
But you're right, the 281. Well, you can't see my phone. 281-1315 is registered to a woman, and because I have that app on one of my phones where I could actually see who number it is was calling me. So that might be the issue there. But that happens. Phone numbers change regularly. Well, phones change regularly. Well,
we're still taking a couple of your calls on this election day morning. As Trinidad and Tobago goes to the polls, as well as Canadians. 281-1315, 281-1315.
Yeah. Let me just greet some new names I saw. And of course, we know some of you changing your names, right? I know the style, especially when you get insulted.
That when you don't know when.
Hello, when they when they start with the
You are a
insulting comments, listen, when they start with the insulting comments, you know and with a different name, you know very well it's somebody changing it. Otteron Benjamin says, good morning, guys. Where's Steve Khan? Steve is still with Power 102, Otteron. Right? Steve and Paul, they're still with Power 102. Nick Nesta is also a new name. Good morning, TNT. Is it me, but not seen any live update coverage of our election? Well, actually, TV6 have been doing live coverages. I had sent one in the chat to the guys. And Nick's new name is Kevin. And we know Kevin. We know your style. Right? We know that style. Right? Have some respect. That's all I could tell you.
So 281-1315, we take some of your calls, but while we are waiting for your calls, maybe I can do this. RSRR Productions has done it again. Married and Mischievous was a riot at Zappa. Now we head to Cipriani College for 2 nights only. On Saturday the 3rd of May at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 4th at 6:30 p.m. Tickets available now at usual outlets and from Wednesday the 30th of April at Cipriani College box office. This play is strictly for adults. Married and Mischievous is an experience you'll never forget. S&H Rum Box, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box, drinking out of the bar. So, of course, we're back on the breakfast.
Yeah, we get that power out of you. Belated birthday greetings going out to Callan, out there in Carnage. He celebrated his birthday yesterday, so belated birthday greetings to you, Callan.
Callan and Carnage, yes.
Yeah.
He was April 22nd, huh? What today is? The 28th?
Yeah. Today's 28th, so he's 27th.
Yeah.
Caller, good morning to you.
Yeah, me again. What politician is?
Yes, with Power 102. This is not Power 102, you know.
This is not Power 102. This is New Era TT Radio.
Yeah, this is a different
Yeah,
stream.
but I see that come across. 3D Hardware. You ever see the movie 3D Hardware?
Well, maybe that's such a hard way.
I don't know because somebody asked me about that. I asked all you. Oh, okay.
No,
Mr. Patrick, one of these days I will give this story, right? Sir Charles and Richard ain't gonna give it, but I will give this story one of these days, right? Live on this New York radio, right?
Oh God, I'll give this story.
Right.
Thanks very much, Mr. Patrick. Yeah, and when they will give them fair notice, right?
I think well again, them fair notice all now. We have plenty more people watching us than we ever had watching us since we start. You understand? One of these days I will give this story.
Nicole out there in Toronto. Nicole says she's about to go and vote. Nicole, call us now and the 281 number. Yeah, you can WhatsApp call me and let me know how things looking in Canada. Nicole is Canadian citizen.
We should have got a Canadian correspondent that we should have let Tinto go out and check some polling stations for us.
Well, is Tinto even on the feed this morning? I don't even know.
No, well, he hasn't put anything in the chat, but he wake me up this morning with a picture.
Well, you realize what that's at 12 for the morning, so she probably going to vote. Zina.
Yes, sure. How Zina ain't called for the morning?
Zina was in a long line wherever she going to vote.
Okay.
I'm not so sure where her polling booth would be. But she's in Arima, but I'm not so sure where her polling booth would be because she wouldn't be in
her constituency is not Arima, it's Malabar Mausika.
Is it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, very sure.
Because she is in the boundaries of Arima, the town, but
yeah.
But anyway, electoral boundaries are strange.
Yeah, no, her constituency is Malabar Mausika. What was originally Darby O'Meara.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's her constituency. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. So, guys, I don't know about you all, but I'm going to try to get some breakfast and go and vote. You know, it's going to be a long day. Folks, I know a lot of you are going to be logging on to us again in the morning, and we thank you so very much. But if also you have a business and whatnot, or you want to advertise, feel free. Good morning, Mr. Amjad Ali from Furniture Plus, and good morning also to Gary Adge from Schaffler Auto. We are interested in of course, you bring your business here, and we'll ensure that you get bang for your buck. Is that what they say?
Yeah, something like that. Look who's coming in there. As we talked about her.
Going to come,
Zena.
Like a dumb vote.
And Wendell, you feel you're not too damn much. You're wrong.
You're not Malaba Mausika?
No.
Which were you in?
Which was formerly Lupino Bonnie West.
So where you living end up in Lupino Bonnie?
Because let me tell you what happens. Our boundary goes right up to the street opposite the hospital.
Yeah.
Where the old age home is.
Yes.
Right. From there go right back there. On that side of the road. On the opposite side of the road is that pole you're talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks for clearing that up. It's so easy to say get a call or just say wrong thing on your call.
No, I ain't come back too long, but I was having my breakfast. So when I hear you, I say, well, let me clear you up before I go now. You say, yeah, sure. I say, well, look at that. He ain't come and see the pigs for long, and he ain't inquire where the boundaries are and what is the new name. But you're gone with your mouth digging it out, but you're sure.
Wow. I wasn't far off, right across the road from you is that constituency.
And my finger done red. Already. All right.
All right, okay, no problem.
I'm surprised nobody didn't take that color ink to court yet.
You want a different kind of ink?
No, but here what? Yeah, it was smooth. Lines were very long. It's smooth. Yeah. So that's why I took so long up there. I mean, but nobody ain't grumbling.
Okay.
Everybody taking their time, and the lines long, but the process nice and smooth and clear.
Okay. Good to go. Good to hear.
All right, Zena, thanks much. Good to hear you.
All right, good.
Yeah, I was wondering where Zena was. Well, Tony Fraser says that the Prime Minister is going to is supposed to go to vote at the international school at around 9 a.m. So if he's going to try to see if he can talk with the Prime Minister after he votes. I'm not sure what time that might come, but once he's able to do that, I will come back in to bring that to you guys. Wendell and Richard will probably have already gone to vote, because we're not too sure exactly what that time will be and if he will actually get him. But if he does, and he calls me, for those of you who are staying on the platform, and we do encourage you to stay on, we may be able to talk with the Prime Minister.
All right, nice, very nice.
All right, but so as we go, maybe I should just play this one more time, Wendell.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? I like that. Anyway, so good morning, sir. Bye-bye, Sir Charles, Richard, and Amanda. And of course, it's been a pleasure. Remember to...
On life, live it, yeah. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do. And remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. Of course, go out and do a civic duty, if you so desire. And of course, we will be here tomorrow morning with a packed show for the results. Whatever the results are, we'll be talking with people who have already confirmed with us tomorrow. Gary Griffith starts it off at 6:15 a.m. He'll be joining us to give us his view on the results, whatever they are. And of course, we'll also have Rishi Maraj, political analyst. We'll have Mariano Brown, and we'll also be trying to speak to candidates in that first hour from 6 to 7 concerning the results as they would have come in last night into the morning. Yeah, Trinidad and Tobago goes to the poll today, and this has been The Breakfast Show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned